Hey guys. Okay, today we're going to be working with pie charts again. In our last session, you can go back to that video and you can see how we built a pie chart, sometimes called a circle graph, from scratch. We had survey questions, we had data, we turned that into percentages, then we turned those percentages into degrees, and from those degrees we created a pie chart. Now, today, we are actually going to be working with pie charts. We're going to be working backwards from pie charts. So today, I'm going to show you how we can take a completed pie chart, and then if we know how many people were surveyed for that data, then we can actually work backwards to see how many people chose each individual survey choice. So this question asks us, the circle graph, or I'm calling them pie charts, the circle graph below shows the results from a survey where 500 people, and I'm going to underline that, 500 people were asked, what do you think is the most important factor for a child's wellness? Using the graph, complete the chart below. So 500 people were asked this question. It doesn't, for our purposes, matter necessarily what the survey was about. What matters is that we have a pie chart. We know the total amount of answers that went into that pie chart, and in this case it's 500. And then we have the percents. So we've got 4 different choices that these people were given, and 12% chose nutritional diet, 32% chose caring friends, 28% chose enough sleep, and 28% chose regular exercise. So again, it doesn't matter exactly what the survey question was or what these choices are. Today we're just going to see how can I take this 500 total number of survey participants and using these percentages break them down so I can see, well, how many actual people answered with nutritional diet? How many actual people answered regular exercise? How many actual people answered any one of these survey choices? Because we know that they could only choose one of them. So the first thing we're going to do, if you haven't already, and you can see that I have, we are going to make a table here, because when we're making a pie chart, whether we're building one from survey answers or we're working backwards from a pie chart to find how many people chose those survey answers, we're always going to have the same kind of table. Now, it looks just like the table we used to create a pie chart in our last lesson. We've got our main choices here. Then we have the frequency, or sometimes I call it real data, because that's the actual data that we recorded. Then there's the percentage, so what proportion of the whole does each individual choice make up? And then when we were making our pie chart, we needed another category right here, another column that we called degrees. Because we're not actually making the pie chart, we don't need to record the number of degrees. That's only information we will need to know when we're actually constructing a pie chart. So we have it easy today. We don't need that column. We don't need that data. Now, let's start filling in our chart because we can see that it's mostly empty. I have filled in for you our bottom row, the total number of participants. We took note earlier, it was 500 people were participating in this survey, so the total number of participants is 500, and the total percentage in any survey, the highest number that you can have is always going to be 100%. You could never have like 120% of people chose this. That wouldn't make any sense. 100% of people chose one of these in a survey, well, that would be all of them. That's the maximum you can totally possibly have. So that is going to be our total in the percent column, and that's what we'll work with. So 500 is our total number of participants, and 100% is our total percentage. So let's start breaking it down. The goal is where we can end up with these filled in. We want to know how many people chose nutritional diet, how many people chose regular exercise, etc., etc. So in order to get that, we're going to have to fill in our percentage column first. We have this data because we've got the pie chart right here. We see that 12 people chose nutritional diet. So in the column for percent, in the row for nutritional diet, I'm just going to write 12%. The data is right there for me. I'm just really copying it over. Caring friends, 32% of our participants chose caring friends. So for caring friends in the percentage column, I'm going to hit 32. For enough sleep, I can see 28% of participants did enough sleep, chose that as their survey answer. And for regular exercise, it was also 28. Okay, easy as pie. We've already filled in one of our columns. We're halfway there. But we haven't really done the bulk of the work. Let's do the actual work. So I'm going to just start from the top. Caring friends. 32% of our survey participants chose caring friends, 32%, and we know that the total number of participants was 500. So all we need to do in order to find out how many people actually chose caring friends is find out, and I'll write this down just to emphasize it, what is blank percent of the total, blank total. That is really the question of the day. What is blank percent of blank total? And the total's never going to change because this was one survey, so we know the total. The total is 500. So what is blank percent of 500 total? Well, for caring friends, what is 32% of 500 total? I'll fill that in just so you can see it. You don't have to write this down. I'm just doing it so you can see exactly what's going through my brain as I'm solving this. What is 32% of 500 total? Well, I know how to solve that. I know how to find the percentage of a whole number. I just take that whole number, 500, and I multiply it by the decimal version of the percent. The decimal version of 32% is, we remember, 0.32. 32% of 500 is 160. So 160 people out of that 500 chose caring friends when asked, what do you think is the most important factor for a child's wellness? Very nice, good answer. I'm going to put that in 160. So 160 real people chose that answer. That made up 32% of our participants. Okay, not bad. So I'm just going to erase, oh, look at that, it's advertising at me. I'm going to erase this 32% because that's going to change when we go down to enough sleep. How many people chose enough sleep? Well, 28% of people chose enough sleep. So what is 28% of 500 total? Okay, well, I can use my calculator. I have it on hand. I'm going to do 500, which is our whole number, times the decimal version of the percent. What's the decimal version of 28%? 0.28. 140. 500 times 0.28 is 140. So 140 people in our survey chose enough sleep in this survey. That's 28% of 500. Now this question is being kind to us because 28% chose enough sleep, but 28% also chose regular exercise. So we solved 140 for 28% enough sleep. Regular exercise is also 28%. It's going to be 140. No problem. So that's a freebie that the question gave us. And last but not least, when asked, what do you think is the most important factor for a child's wellness? 12% of people, and 500 people were surveyed, chose nutritional diet. We can see that right here. 12% of people chose nutritional diet. So what is 12% of 500 total? What is 12% of 500 total? Well, I take my whole number, 500, I multiply it by the decimal version of the percent. The decimal version of 12% is 0.12, 0.12. Our calculator gives us 60. So I'm just going to switch back to my blue pen. Nutritional diet, 60 people chose it. So now, working backwards from my circle chart, my pie chart, my circle graph, whatever you want to call it, I knew my percentages. I put them all in this column here. I really just copied them over. I had that data in the chart to begin with. And then I used what I knew to be the total. My question gave me 500 people were asked. That was the total number of people. I used that to find the frequency of each data point. So how many people chose caring friends? Well, 32% of 500 chose caring friends. I took 500, multiplied it by 32%, 0.32, gave me 160. 160 people chose caring friends. 140 chose enough sleep, which was 28%. 140 chose regular exercise, which was 28%. And 60 people, which was 12% of our 500 total, chose nutritional diet. Not so hard when we break it down piece by piece. It might be a bit of a daunting question if you encounter it on a test and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? But you can see if we just recognize each data point as being a percentage of our total, and we know what our total is, well, then we can just use our calculator pretty easily to find out, well, what is the percentage? What is blank percent of blank total? As long as you remember this sentence, what is blank percent of blank total, You can take any pie chart, and as long as you have the percentage and the total, you'll be able to find the real data that was collected in that survey. So now you know how to do it. I want you to go try it yourself. Godspeed, good luck. I'm sure you can do it. See ya.